So it's been a long time since I've made a video. I think it was summer when I made my last one. And gosh, it's been a really challenging autumn. And I follow astrology. I don't know if many of you do also, but I knew it was going to be a challenging autumn, but I didn't realise it was going to be so personal and so inner. I was expecting lots of sort of like outer worldly things to be happening. But gosh, what a journey. And I haven't made any videos because I really like to feel clear when I share. I like to know what I'm wanting to share. I want to feel clear in myself about what I'm sharing. And and the lesson hasn't finished. I mean, the lessons never finish really, but I suppose things happen and teachings come, and some of them are very long. And I feel like the teaching that I've been in since last summer has been a very deep and ongoing one. There have been many times when I've nearly made a video, but just hasn't quite been clear enough. And I can't say that it's clear now, but I wanted to share. It's felt like the last few years have been a purge, have been an ancestral purge, a purge of pain, of grief. Many of you, it feels like many of us have been falling apart, have been breaking down, and breakdowns aren't bad things. I always remember when I had, I think it was during my Saturn return, when I had the biggest breakdown of my life, and I literally felt like there was nothing left of me except crumbled, broken pieces of me at the bottom of my feet rattling around. But I had a flash of an image one day during that time, and it was of like a ground zero, you know, when there's been a demolition and all the mess has been cleared, and there's just a clear open ground. And the vision I had was just of that clear open ground, which was me, because my old self had been utterly destroyed and there was nothing left. But right in the middle of that ground there was just this little sparkling diamond, and it was showing me that's, this is the new ground. Look at all this space for the new you to grow into and come back and renew yourself and be a better version of Yeshe than before. And so if you're in the midst of breakdown, if you're in the midst of a health crisis, try not to see it as just a negative, difficult, uncomfortable time. Try and embrace it, try and welcome it, try and soften into it, and recognize that there are fruits to be, there are blessings to come from these challenging times. And I was listening to an amazing man, Christopher Bache, or Christopher Bach, B-A-C-H-E. He did some long, I think 20 years of high-dose LSD work. He was a professor. He wasn't a space cadet. He was a very, very concise, intelligent, intellectual man. And for 20 years, he went on these deep, deep journeys that were, the book he's got, Diamonds from Heaven. It's an absolutely amazing read. And he saw humanity. He saw the future of humanity, he calls it. And he had it 3 times over, where he saw humanity going into this kind of bottleneck of collapse, of transformation. And as with all prophets, the actual bottleneck that we travel through in this period of time that's coming up, that could last the next 3 years, 30 years, 3 generations, who knows, maybe 300 years before we really truly come out the other side of it. We're in it for the long game. And I know many of you would like to hear something other, because we're such a short-term gratification culture. It's like we'd love to see it all happen and done, but it doesn't work like that. The earth and this purge, this transformation, it's not working on human time, individual human time. It's working on deep time. But this bottleneck that he saw coming up for us, where we get squeezed through the eye of the needle, he couldn't see what happens. But the Christed humanity that came out on the other side, the awakened humanity that came out on the other side, the rebirth of humanity, was profound. And one thing he said in this interview the other day that I watched was, if you're a woman and you're in labour, but you've no idea what it is to give birth. You've no idea what being pregnant is or what having a baby is. You've never seen it, you don't know anything about it, and you're just in this experience of giving birth. You would think you were going to die. You know, you would think that this is it. I mean, even when we know what giving birth is about, many, many women have said there comes a point where they literally think they're going to die and they're like, I can't do this. So I guess what I'm saying is this next period of time that we're entering into of profound transformation, it's going to be a bit like that. It's not going to be comfortable. I mean, look at our history. It's not been great. I mean, as a child studying, or I didn't really study history, but every time I looked at it, I was just like, what on earth? What have we been doing? Why have we been doing this? So our history is awful, and you know, and it's not the time for blaming anymore. I've said this in other videos, you know, it's so easy to blame. It's so easy to point the finger at they and them, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and maybe they are, maybe they're not. There's not really much I can do about it. All I can do is my own work. All I can do is what is here in my locality, the people around me, I've got this, I can reach a wider audience through this, but still I can't fundamentally change anything except myself and the environment around me, my environment of influence. So getting het up in whether there are wealthy beings doing awful things in the world, yeah, of course there are. We know that. I mean, we only have to look to politics. But me getting angry about it and blaming and pointing the finger and going, oh, they're this, they're that, really doesn't help anything. It's kind of like a toxic pipeline spilling my own toxicity, my own reactivity out into the world. And I really don't want to be doing that. I want to be bringing in love, higher frequencies, compassion, tolerance, understanding, and also inside, outside. They're very interconnected. Buddha talks about the wheel of samsara, and this was one of the really big lessons I had at the end of the summer when some pretty challenging things happened in my community. And when I say pretty challenging, obviously interpersonal things with people, the things we can't control, other people. And I ended up saying no to something, but I said no in a very reactive way. And there's a difference to saying no from a place of centered compassion and no, I don't consent to this. No, I'm not going to join in with this. If somebody comes at me angry and they want to fight and they're really riled up, maybe even through something I've said, I don't have to join in with that anger. I don't have to join in with that fight. And I can simply, I mean, maybe I get beaten up, who knows, but I don't have to join in. I don't have to get my reactivity or stirred up and throw it all back at them, because this is turning the wheel. And we have to stop turning the wheel through our reactivity. We need, and I'm not talking about bypassing it and spiritually bypassing it by going, oh no, I'm not, it's your crap, it's your stuff, because actually we're not separate, we're all interdependent. Your stuff, my stuff, you know, in the past, in history, there's been so much rape, pillage, murder and death, and reincarnation, which I know to be true for me. You might not, this is fine. I'm not inviting or not bothering to get into a discussion about whether reincarnation's true or not. But there's a good chance in the past I've been a murderer, I've been a rapist, I've been a horrifically angry person. And often in this life, the things that make me angry are equal to the amount I love. I get angry at my children when they're doing things that are going to hurt them or hurt each other, because I love them so much. I can't bear to see it. I don't want them to be fighting. I don't want them to be doing this. I don't want them to be doing things that hurt themselves. And I don't know what to do. And it comes out as anger or upset or whatever, because it's hard. So, you know, we never know where people are at. We never know what they're going through. And so our reactivity and our responses are the key to what we have, the key to the power we have to change our world, both in the local environment and then the knock-on effect. Because by behaving in different ways, we give permission to other people to also behave in different ways. By not reacting and by not falling into the fight, we show there's another way to do it, even if we're still fumbling in the dark. One thing I'm clear about is nothing is clear. The only thing I know is that I don't know. I feel the future's going to be kind of messy. I really hope it won't be too messy, but I think the messiness is up to us. It's up to how we react or respond. And there's going to be a lot of people that are in full reactivity. But do you need to join them? Do you need to join them? Is that going to help? Is your anger going to help? Is your reactivity going to help? Is your toxic overspill going to help? Or can you try and take advantage of this opportunity of purification? All the illnesses that are around, they're giving us opportunities to change habits, to stop eating crap, to stop taking rubbish into our body, to stop thinking toxic stuff within our mind. We've got to be really on it now. It's really time to pull up our socks and do the work as much as we're able to, and to forgive ourselves when we fail, when we make a mistake. It doesn't help to beat ourselves up either. So, just do what you can and keep taking one step and one step and one step at a time, and keep trying to come back to your heart, come back to center, come back to stillness, and forgive yourself, forgive others if you can, because what's coming is not going to be easy. It really feels like somebody the other day described it as like passing through the eye of a needle. And if you imagine like passing through the eye of a needle, there's not much you can take. You can't take a rucksack with you. You probably can't even take anything in your pockets. You're going to get squeezed. So we've got this opportunity now, and I think luckily, fortunately, that this shift, this transformation, this change, it is happening kind of slowly compared to a meteorite smashing us on the head and tsunamis wiping the planet. It's not going to be that way, because this is a transformation, a transformative time for all life on earth. And it is grief-soaked for me. It's really deeply sad. I mean, in the last 3 years, I feel like I can break down into tears so easily. And it's okay. It washes my heart clean every time I do. But just the reality of where we're at, how we've got here, what we've done to each other to get to this point. If you don't find yourself breaking down, maybe you're not seeing things clearly. Maybe you're still wonderfully distracted by success and glamour and money or whatever it is. And that's beautiful for a while. But in Buddhism, the same with the God realm. You can look at people with lots of money, people wearing all this swanky clothes and great makeup, and they're in the God realm. And even the gods fall from the God realm eventually when the karma runs out. So if you are in the God realm, beautiful, wonderful, have a great time. But please use your energy, use your money, use your finance, use your influence for the benefit of all beings. Because otherwise, and because it's the right thing to do, but also because when you fall, it's going to be really uncomfortable. And we're all in this together, so let's try and hold each other, and let's, hold ourselves, hold each other. I think I made a post the other day, and it was, actually it started off, I was putting it outside, I don't blame you for having demons, but I do hold you accountable for feeding them. And then I realised that I was still pointing it outside, and I changed it to, I don't blame myself for having demons, but I do hold myself fully accountable for every time I feed them. And I hold myself accountable. I don't beat myself up. I don't fall into a wallow of self-pity. I hold myself accountable. I see it, and I try to reconcile that, and next time do something different. Anyway, just a little check-in to say hi. I hope you're all doing well and getting through this time. I'm sending you all my prayers. I know there's so much illness and challenge around at the moment, so look after yourselves, eat well, sleep well, drink lots of linseed tea if you can, and be well. Yeah, thank you.